Hi, I am Centimus Prime, and here I'll be showcasing a MOC I made. Not an alternate build. It's not an alternate build where you grab the parts from a single set and then build something with that. This is a full-on MOC that I've made using the parts around in my collection of parts. Now this is a MOC of Dyna Soldier. And for quick context, Dyna Soldier is basically the core robot for a kaiju fighting combiner known as dynazenon. Now with that, let's get into the details of the figure of the MOC. Now starting off with the head, I do think the head turned out nicely. It does get the idea across that this is Dyna Soldier, from the yellow crest to the gray unibrow thing, to the yellow eyes up out of here, to the kind of sharp snout at the front. Really nice. Down here, I do like how this front section turned out. I was able to do this thin building technique where I can add the teeth onto the side without making it look too wide or too clunky, and also adding little gray details on the sides. That's nice. Now moving on to the arms, you do have these these red shoulder blocks on the blocks for shoulders. The gray here does break it up a bit because this is supposed to be a block of red, but it's whatever thing. It's Lego. Now I do like how this turned out, where I did replicate this nicely, where the bicep of his arm looks really big and muscly, and then it slims down as you go down the forearm. I do think that turned out pretty nicely. The hands, I do a quick little custom build for the hands, and I think it turned out okay. It ain't perfect, but I think it turned out decently enough. Now moving on to the back. This is what the back looks like. Do get some more teeth back here. I did use that same thin building technique as I did on the front. You do get a little tail, and this can move around and stuff. Now moving down to the legs, I did use these black ingot pieces to add a nice bit of texture to the thighs. Smooth texture to the thighs. And then the shins, I think, turned out okay. They ain't perfect. Far from it. But I think they turned out, but I think it's doable. And then we move down to the feet, where you do get these nice gold claw things that I did use from that Ninjago set that I did review. I did take these off of that to use for this MOC. For those who are wondering why that set has the translucent orange ones rather than the gold ones that's supposed to come with, this is why. I used them for this MOC. Now for posability, the head is on a nice expressive ball joint. Get a nice range of movement out of that. And the head also has this nice hinge for even more up and down movement. Very nice. And he also has an opening jaw. Jaw can open a good bit. Very nice. Very nice indeed. The shoulders, they're on a ball joint. They have a nice, excellent range of movement. And this, and here, I even included a bicep swivel. I do like how I was able to integrate a bicep swivel into a Lego design. I just think that's cool. The elbows, they can bend a good range. Like, you did get a deep bend at the elbow. Like, that's cool. Now, at the hands are nicely articulate, or decently articulated. They can, like, rotate forward and back like this. So you can, like, do stuff with that. And even has articulated fingers. So he has these two fingers that are articulated, go up, and they rotate up and down. Well, whereas the thumb can rotate side to side. It's an interesting little hand design. Now, there's no waist rotation or anything, but you do get a ratcheting tail, which I've already demonstrated. It can go up that far, it can fold up that far, and it can fold down about that far. Now, the hips. The hips are kind of weird, but I think they do get the job done. So, they bend back this far. It's like a nice ball joint. However, you can't, with these ball joints, you can't really do a good split, nor can you bend it forward that much. There's just stuff in the way, right? However, very early in this design, in designing this, I've integrated a joint, a transformation joint. This can rotate outward. So you can get a nice, good kick out of that. Good, like, a split. Very nice. And you can also, like, utilize the joints and stuff to, like, get a nice bend upward. So, using the hip joints is kind of weird, but I think it does work. The knees, they're on ball joints. They're on a good range of ball joints. They can bend slightly past 90. They can even bend backwards a little bit. And they can also rotate and all that. These shins, so these shin pieces, these can also rotate for transformation. And yes, this guy does have transformation. And he also has ball jointed ankles, which means he has a nice range of movement out of that. And finally, you do get some individual claw articulation. It's pretty neat. I do like how that turned out. Looks I do think it turned out pretty nicely. So let's get on to stuff like, I do want to actually, yeah, first of all, I want to talk about the size comparison. So first of all, I'm comparing this to this MOC, or alternate build that I made. And the look, there are them orange claws again. So you get that. Here he is compared to a minifigure. You can see that he basically goes up to about halfway up the shin. A normal minifigure does. Here he is next to my custom painted Siege Centimus Prime. Here's how he is next to a Transformer figure. And last but not least, here he is next to the Modroid Dynazenon. Now here's where you can get to see all the details that I was able to bring in. It ain't perfect. Definitely ain't perfect. But I think it does a pretty good job. Here are the heads. Did the crests. Alright. Here's the fronts. The arms I did. Like the strong biceps in the arms is more so based off of the DX dynazenon. I think that was a detail to that version of the dynazenon. Now the hands are also not perfect. Here he has 3 digits in his thumb. Here he only has 2 digits in his thumb. So there is that. So I do think these guys turned out this MOC turned out really nicely. And not only that, but I told you, this guy can transform and stuff. But this guy can too. So this guy is basically able to do every transformation thing that this guy can. So I'm going to show you that. But before that, I'm going to show you this. Unfortunately, he does have a bit of parts forming, but then again, the Modroid one has parts forming as well. So let's get started. First step, you're gonna unfortunately remove the head. Not that part, just this part. The jaw stays. So anyways, remove this part. Take 2. Remove this part. Remove the head. Now next step, rotate the head and jaw forward. Then add this piece onto the head like so. Now next what you can do is rotate, move the tail like so. Now what you're going to do is rotate these shin pieces, straighten out, and then close up these claws, and then bring these two together so you have it so that they both look like they're both attached. And as for the arms, you can have it like it was in the animated, so you can have the arms kind of hanging out like that. But something I personally do with mine is completely remove the arms entirely. And so you have this. This is the dynamic cannon. And I think it turned out pretty nicely. Here you get a nice look at that head, at the head. Does look pretty nicely. And head on, it looks alright. Looks kind of weird, but it does look really good. It's pretty nice. Unfortunately, I don't really have anyone to hold the dynamic cannon. Let's see if I can have the minifigure hold it. Come on. Go. Okay. Wait, I think it's working. There. There we go. Yep. Oh well. Let's transform him back real quick. So so I will show more transformations, but I'll show those off when I show you the other components for this MOC. So right now, I do think this overall turned out really nicely. This is sort of my own take on a Lego Dyna soldier. And I think it turned out pretty nicely. I do eventually want to make a instruction video on how to build this guy and the other components that I'll showcase sooner or later, to give people the chance to actually build these. This is something I want to share with you all. Because a Lego Dyna soldier, I mean, how cool is that? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, yes, this guy uses a lot of bootleg parts. You can see them like here and there. It mostly uses official parts, but it has some bootleg parts here and there. Now, I do have a lot of the bootleg parts in my collection, including like uniquely shaped, like specialized pieces that Lego themselves don't make. And it does make it more challenging for me to build, because I don't really want to use like those obscure pieces and then show like a MOC to like you. So if I build a MOC like much like this one, but I would use like some specialized parts to get some things right in a MOC. Showing you, if I show you how to build it and then I show you like those parts, then you would like not know how to get those parts, and you probably won't be able to get those parts because they're bootleg parts that Lego don't make. So when building these, I do want to keep that in mind. But it does use bootleg parts. But at least these are like parts that do exist in Lego. At least I think they do. Oh, I do want to keep that in mind. Oh, and when rotating these around, it does show off some like fiery jet like details. And I think that was really nice, because these parts are stickers from these are stickered parts I got from a Lego Chima set. It's like one of those like fiery Phoenix like vehicle ones. Well, not Phoenix vehicle. It's like a flaming lion tank from Chima. And that's where these stickers came from. But I am so glad I was able to use stickers in this MOC. If they don't use stickers, it doesn't ruin the look of the figure if it doesn't have those stickers. But it does improve the look of this figure. And overall, I do really like how it turned out again. But I do also want to post a how to build for this and all of them. And all the dynazenon components. So there's this YouTuber. It's called Lego TR. It's TKR. No, it was TKR Studio. Lego TKR Studios. That's the name of the YouTuber. This is a YouTuber that's already made a couple of Lego dynazenons. And other Gridman related stuff. And I do like the effort that the YouTuber put into the builds. But and I'm not no shade on the YouTuber or anything like that. But I personally don't like how the MOCs themselves look. I personally think they don't. I personally think they don't. They didn't look quite right to me, so I ended up building my own. It's as simple as that. Now, it did take me a long time to figure out like the engineering and stuff, but it is like so worth it at the end because this turned out really awesome. And I hope and I also hope that people would enjoy stuff like this. So I guess that'll be it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider to like and subscribe. Oops. Sorry there. And maybe even comment. And of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.